Beyond the Veil, Navigating the Great Awakening, a special series on Survivor Angels.
It's time for Survivor Angels, an approach to strengthen trauma survivors. Here, you can escape what draws negativity and engage your positive abilities and the gifts that you've always had. Let's activate your angels. And to help you on that journey, here's Chaplain Jodi.
Well, Jen, April is pretty much behind us, but why don't you just give our listeners and our viewers a little bit of a recap of what April brought us?
Yeah, so April was really interesting. I think it was a springboard of transformation, letting go, having that kind of energy behind you, things coming up, resurgences, especially with all the celestial things that we had going on, the meteor shower, the conjunction. So with the meteor shower, for me, it brought up a lot of like old past history and trauma. And I had to like, whoa, what's going on for about 2 days. And it's like, this is what going on astrologically. It is not what's going on with me. Had to work myself through it. But then the energy of the conjunction itself definitely propelled me. I got that mama energy, like, I'm going to clean my closets. I'm going to go do this. So it was really good for people who wanted to do a project or was hemming and hawing and needed to jump off to do it. And so I think that's what it was. It's just part of the transformation from April. May is not going to be that way. I'm getting something completely different.
Completely different. I know for me, I really did, I'll just say house cleaning with everything Survivor Angels.
Oh, yeah.
I made a lot of big decisions, which I have no regrets about making. A lot of times because I'm a claircog, I will go, I know what to do. And then I will sit there and second guess myself 40 gazillion times and finally go, well, you were right. So just move on, but then I'll come back, how it works. But no, so for me, it wasn't so much personally as it was more angel wise, which that's still personal for me, but other people would say, well, no, that's kind of your business, even though I don't consider it a business. It's my mission is what it is. But you're absolutely right. Oh boy, May is looking completely different. We're still going to have a meteor shower, and that's going to come up like on the 5th and 6th. So like really fast here now. And it's the Eta Aquariid meteor shower. And it's interesting because Aquariid actually has 2 eyes in it. And I always pay attention to some of those little details. I didn't have a chance to kind of research, what that might mean. So for those of you who are out there, watching and listening, if you're into doing that, just to look it up. It would be like Aquarius, except take out the U and put a double I in it and just see what you get. But I'm sure there's got to be a meaning behind that we need to be paying attention to. And then I know like the moon is going to at the end of the month, it's going to come into, I'll look at my notes here quick. The new moon is going to move into Gemini. But now early on here, we're going to see Saturn enter Aries. So for those of you who are into the whole zodiac thing, that's what's going to be happening astrologically this month. But what all that means for me, based on what the angels told me, is there's going to be a lot of clarity that's going to come about. Jeremiel is screaming in my ears. You want to be listening for me because Jeremiel, Archangel Jeremiel, is going to be making a whole lot of things become clearer for a lot of people. What do you think?
Now, my question for you is that who you call upon for clarity during that time?
Yes. Yes. So if you think you're hearing something, feeling something, sensing something, call on Jeremiel, because Jeremiel is the one that will help to sort through all the muck and mire and everything and get you focused on the message. Then you want to make sure that you're talking to Gabriel, because Gabriel is the communicator. So Jeremiel's going to get you all in clear focus, and then Gabriel is going to be, bringing the messages, if you will.
Got
Yes.
it. Yeah, for me, and it's so cool that you brought up the eyes. So for
Oh,
the first through the 15th, I'm getting clarity. I'm getting pay attention. I'm getting people who are not being truthful, people who are hiding things, skeletons, lies, deception. Be very careful. They need to be careful about keeping their secret for the first 15 days. The people who have springboard off from April, got to be free skating because you have let that truth go. You have released yourself from the old karma of last month. This month, you're going to be skating. You're going to be great. You're going to have this energy up until the 15th. And then after the 15th, be more cautious. Financially, really, really good for the people who sprungboard. Financially, not so good for the people who are hiding things. So I think there's a lot of yin yang karma going on right now. For the person who's cheating on their spouse, for the person who is not telling the truth about family history, be cautious, because these first 2 weeks, like you said, the eyes are watching. And so you have to be very clear and conscious about what is going on. So for people who are not sure what's going on, pay attention. Use that gut instinct, because the ethers know what's going on. You just have to make sense of it. But the eyes are watching for sure.
it's so funny when you said that. Angels were just saying to me, because you mentioned finances,
Mm-hmm.
and then you mentioned, your secrets. And so they were saying to me, if you're out spending and your spouse or your significant other doesn't know that you're doing it, be
Mm-hmm.
very careful, because that clarity piece could come in for them and you're going to get challenged on it. You're going to get called on it, because they're going to say, all right, what are you doing? You
Yep.
out there spending our money and not telling me that wasn't what we agreed to with our budget? Well, what are you doing? And it's going to cause some relationship issues. If it
Yeah,
does,
absolutely.
call
I
it.
feel that.
That's where Gabriel's going to come in again, because Gabriel is going to help you with that communication piece then, to get your relationship back on track,
Yeah.
because it might be running off the rails here a little bit.
Yeah, and I absolutely feel that. If you're doing nothing wrong, you're doing nothing wrong. And those people are the ones that are going to be benefiting from the May energy. I think that if you're going to buy the lottery ticket, do it. It's one of those that maybe you shouldn't do that towards like the 15th, 17th. Then start watching your resources, watch your finances toward the end of the month. But the cycle right now, for the people that have done the work, that are moving forward, it's positive. There's a lot of joy. There's financial benefit. There is a lot of things helping you along. For the people that are still on the fence holding back, maybe a little rocky for you. Maybe a little rocky.
Right. And with, because we are, trying to help people navigate through the awakening, because this is 2025, that comes up with the number 9. We know our numbers mean something. That's great clarification for us. Again, clarification, the clarity piece. But I completely forgot where I was going to go with this.
About clearing and doing the work.
Yes, with the awakening. Thank you. So, as many of you probably know, I just had an issue with my back, and so the brain isn't fully on track here right now either when you have pain. But no, with the awakening piece in April, if you started working through some of your fog with the awakening piece and you feel like you are starting to get a handle on what all of this means, May is going to be a big breakout month with that. All of a sudden, a lot of these things that Jen talks about, that I talk about, whether you're in a reading with Jen, whether you're listening to the podcast or some video that I drop, whatever, you're all of a sudden going to go, oh my gosh, I understand that. And that's great because we are on the path of awakening right now. And it's huge and it's only going to get bigger and stronger.
Well,
Right?
I think it's really fabulous, that we're doing this, because I think so many people from month to month do need the guidance. And time is not stagnant. Situations are not stagnant. We're constantly evolving. We're constantly moving. But what you will find is that what we discuss, and we do this before the month even starts, what you will see is other people, other podcasts, other things are going to be following the same thing we are doing ahead. So when you say, oh, somebody said that financing, or somebody says job opportunity is now open from May to this, just remember where you heard it, because we are all being divinely guided. And so
Right.
all of us workers together are trying to guide our friends, our family, everybody, so that we're more aware, so that we all can benefit and understand what's going on.
Right. Yeah. We are part of the collective. We are not separate from the collective. We are part of the collective, as is everyone else. And so it's all of this coming together. And as things start to gel and there's similarities with this, and the comparisons start to sort of, how should I say, fall away so that they become more one, that's what this awakening is about. It is about a consciousness that is going to eventually meet in the middle. How that looks, we're not sure yet.
Right.
But we're all on that path, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, what you're doing, who you know. All of that is immaterial. It's the fact that we are all in this together, and people are on different points in this journey. That's okay, because Jen and I are going to help you with what we are given, and you're going to know what to do with it. It might not make sense right away as you hear it, but like Jen says, just tuck it in the back, and all of a sudden you go, oh, I heard that. And then it will make sense. I know you talk about the yin and yang. And as I mentioned before the show started, I have been getting so much of the divine masculine and feminine, which is part of all of us. Does that fit with what you're getting?
Yeah, I definitely have seen the symbology of it. And I'm like, okay, what is this meaning for me? What is it meaning for the collective of what we're going through right now? And I think, like everything, the yin and the yang is, you're either doing the work or you're not. If you're doing the work, find balance. If you're not, guess what? Things flip upside down, topsy-turvy. Specifically this month, I'm getting that energy. So if you are not on the right path, you're still entertaining wrong relationships, wrong friendships, bad business decisions, it may come to bite you. So I think you need to be very aware and very cautious for the first 2 weeks. After that, you may see what happens if you're not. And so I think there's a balancing act for this month. It's very karmic. It's very catalyst driven. So if you are motivated and you're moving forward and you're making progress, and I think you could ride that wave where things will be in your favor. If you're not emotionally, behaviorally, financially, I think there could be a reckoning. And so I just throw caution to the wind. Just be very aware, very cognizant, because this is, I am not an astrologer, but I feel the energy, and the energy is telling me to be cautious, and that there's a flipping, so to speak, of what you put out there.
Absolutely. Archangel Haniel, if you're wondering about anything, Archangel Haniel is balance, bringing balance and harmony. If you feel like your scales are tipping dark, boy, then start focusing on that positive side, on the light side, because Haniel is the one that's going to let you know when it's like, oh, here we go, we gotta bring it back this way. And Haniel is very good about it. You will sense it in all kinds of different ways. You will sense it emotionally, you will sense it physically, you will sense it mentally. um Again, relationships, that's a big teller. You might think that everything is just going super great, and all of a sudden somebody gets snarky with you, and you're like, "Oh, where did that come from?" And you've got to step back and see, was it you or
Right.
was it them? Because it might have been you. It might have been your voice inflections, the tone of your voice or something, and they snapped back at you. You got to look within yourself. Never assume it's the other person,
Right.
especially now.
So I have a question. So if we are on the wrong path and we are not doing the things that deep down we know we have to do the angels give you a heads up? And specifically, can you give me kind of, because I know I have angels around me, but I also just handle my guides or my loved ones that I know work with me.
Right.
And I don't, as a medium, I automatically go to the other side. I don't think in terms of angels. And so I'm wondering, what are some of the hints, things that they show you? Do they just come in here, or are there physical manifestations that come to warn you to say, hey, pay attention?
Yeah, there could be physical manifestations in other people. Somebody will say something to you just in a general conversation about a topic that doesn't even necessarily relate, but there will be something in that conversation that is going to apply with what you're going through, what you need to make a decision on, those sorts of things happening in your life where you need to be cognizant of that and pull that out. So I believe that every moment of our life, and I don't mean this to sound like drudgery, we need to have our radar constantly going for the messages that we're being given, because the angels are the protectors of our soul. That's why they bring us messages. So their messages are not to harm us, they're only to help us. So they can use other people. Angels can manifest in human form. There is detailed accounts of that happening. I know it to be real
Right.
because I have had people tell me stories of when there has been an angel that has appeared and told them, run. And they turn around and that person is gone. That was an angel manifestation in human form. So, besides just through your senses, seeing, hearing, feeling, all of those things, it can be a physical piece. You could be driving past a billboard, and it's not
Right.
the message on the billboard, but it's one word that just pops. And for a moment, you might think, well, why did I focus on that word? Well, step back and think about it. What were you just thinking about? What's concerning you right now? What are you doing that you maybe don't feel real good about? Or maybe you do feel really good about it, and that's a confirmation to keep going. But especially if you are on the wrong path, thinking about going down the wrong path, and you're going to have paths present themselves right and left constantly where you're going to have to make a decision. I always say, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right, because that gut feeling, that intuition, that's your angels talking to you. So trust your gut. That saying goes back centuries, believe it or not, because the angels have always been with humankind from the very beginning. So trust the gut. That's your angels bringing you messages. Now, like you said, could be your spirit guides. I believe that spirit guides are a way that your angels communicate to you also.
Right.
So it's not necessarily the spirit guide that's communicating. That's your angels communicating through your spirit guide because it's what you're comfortable with. It's
Right.
who you're comfortable with.
No, I totally
So
get that. And as a medium, it's my fallback. It's what I'm used to. And so as we ask people to open up and see the signs and, do something that's foreign to them if they don't work in this business, so to speak,
Mhm.
I need to also learn to understand my angels because I always fall back on what's easy, right? The easy path of, oh, that's your loved one, or that's my dad, or that's whoever, and not the angels. So the only time I've really assimilated, like, oh, that's an angel, my angel number, my 555, 444, my numerology, I always account that to angels. But I really need to open and broaden up my senses, so to speak, saying, oh, you're right, that billboard, that was a sign. And the more I entertain, the more I invite, I'm hoping that the more they will talk with me for divine guidance, etc. But I'm always fascinated when I talk to you because your first thing is angels. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, so I need to expand myself and open up to that a lot more and go, oh, be a little more discerning. Is that the angel? Is that my, guide? Is that who is discerning? Yes, I get a message, but keeping my eyes open more. So that's really good for me. So hopefully other people will utilize your experience and your wisdom to help guide.
Well, and one thing too, Jen, 100% of people don't believe in angels, and that's fine,
Right.
because they will come into their own when they are supposed to. I think it's like 81 or 82% of the world do believe in angels.
Hmm.
They don't necessarily claim that they're religious people. That's fine. I say I'm a spiritual person, not a religious person.
Right.
So you don't have to be tied to a faith, but it is about having faith. And I see that as faith in the unknown and the unseen.
Right.
And that's where you start from. And it's not even so important that you understand the source of who the messenger is, who's bringing you the message. It's the message itself. That is the important piece because that is what your soul needs, is
Right.
that message to keep you going in the right direction. We are on a forward path.
Oh,
we're,
yeah.
we're not going back anywhere. Even if you want to say, well, when I come back around in my next lifetime, okay, fine. You know, it's not going back to it, it's going forward to
Lord.
it.
Yeah.
And that's a discussion for a whole nother podcast because we can do a lot of things with that, but it's not the appropriate time right now. So we won't do
Yeah.
that.
I think the important thing, like you said, it's not about religion. It's not about who you believe in, where you're from. It's not about readings that you do. It's about the energy, our connection to our gut, our connection to source. If you believe in something, great. If you don't, great. It's that little intuition. And whether or not you want to say that is my religion, is my intuition because it keeps me safe, more power to you. Because this isn't about faith. This is about collectively being connected to the energies that are out there, how to navigate those for your best self. Keep you safe, give you warnings, whatever the case may be. It's just that connection. I mean, all of us have been somewhere where it's like you stand there and the wind's blowing and the trees, and it's like, there's that feeling of peace and love and energy. That's what we're connecting to. And I think the more you do it and the more open you are, then you can start reading signs, in everyday life. We all get busy, but if you can stop and just take like that 2 seconds to get some kind of clarity on whatever decision, whatever's happening in the moment, I think we'll all be better.
One of the things that is popping up for me the last couple of days, um, because this is about clarity. We know May is going to clear up a whole lot of fog on a whole lot of levels for a whole lot of people. And people will say, why am I not feeling this awakening? Why am I not getting warm fuzzies? Well, first of all, it's not all going to be warm fuzzies.
No.
Some of it is going to be a little tough.
Right.
But the other piece of it is that I'm getting from the last few days that the angels are focusing me on is that people are so busy nitpicking insignificant things
Right.
that it's like that doesn't even affect you. Don't even worry about it. Don't bother about it. Don't get in a discussion about it because that's negative energy. When you start doing the nitpicking about things that you don't like or you think are wrong, whatever the scenario is, instead, take that time and turn it inward in you. People say, well, I feel so powerless. I feel like I don't have control. You are sitting in the driver's seat. The power and the control lies within you. And
Yes.
when I say that, I mean that you have the power and the control to step away from the negativity, to step into the power, into the light, and focus on the light of the world, the positivity in the world, the positive energy in the world. And you'll be so surprised of how you will radiate that out to other people. That's part of your awakening.
Right.
Is to get yourself to that place where you instinctively turn away from the darkness and turn in to the light.
Yeah, I kind of try and live by the rule, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else of having an opinion about something I don't like, or I think this person's a phony, whatever the case may be. But I always try and stop, do the pause, and go, is it kind? Is it necessary? And am I going to get something out of this?
Great.
And if the answer is no on any of them, take that pause, get off of the keyboard, stop texting.
Yes,
It's okay to have an opinion. We all are entitled to opinion. But are you dogpiling and making things worse? Are you creating more drama? Are you being part of it and getting sucked in and investing your emotions, your thoughts, your mood? Why are we doing this? Right? So I've learned to, okay, I need to step away from this. I have an opinion, but I'm going to not drunk text, because that's technically what it is. We're mean girling, and it's so unnecessary. And when we do, I guess it's fun at the time. You can get a chuckle and a laugh, but at whose expense? That can never come back, right? And so I just look at it as, is this necessary? Okay, my opinion is this, but other people are going to find out, right? You can only have a lie for so long. You can only pretend for so long. People are going to find out if you're a jerk because you can't be nice the whole time. Sometimes your jerkiness will come out, but I don't need to be the one to point it out, right?
Yes.
Unless I'm being personally attacked, water off a duck's back. Let's move on. Let's worry about us because that's all we can control. And then look as to, okay, why is this happening? Is it a full moon? Am I feeling that energy? Is it a new moon? Is it, what's going on in the world right now? Am I watching too much TV with negative stuff? Are my kids complaining? I think this, session that you and I are doing is to become more aware, maybe not astrologically, maybe not. Where are we? Let's gauge how I'm feeling. Why am I feeling this? Am I just having a bad day? There are certain things that we just have to be more aware of ourselves, be more aware of our surroundings, and take an assessment as to, is this going to better me? Is this going to better my mental, spiritual, whatever health.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like, like I just said, you go from the dark back into the light. If you don't have a solution, then quit talking about it because you're not getting any clarity. It's not working. So just stop
Yeah.
and move on and do something that's going to help you to grow and thrive and get on this fun little journey that we call navigating the Great Awakening.
Yeah, and I want to bring one other thing. You brought up a valid point of people going, well, why am I not feeling this? Why am I not able to, awaken or feel that power? Did you ride a bike in one session? Or did you have to learn to ride the bike, right? We
Yep.
want to teach people how to be more self-aware, how to be aware of our environment. So it may not be in one session. It may not be in 2 sessions. You may learn fast, you may learn slow. But as long as you're progressing forward with you and what's best for you and your energy, that's what we're encouraging. That then you may be able to see situations so much easier and understand why things are happening.
Yeah. So when you fall off the bike, you know how to get back on it.
Right.
Great analogy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Jen. Until next time, you have a great month of May.
Thank you. You too. And buy that lottery ticket if you're going to.
Thanks again for joining Chaplain Jodi on Survivor Angels. For more information, go to chaplainjodi.me. That's chaplainjodi.me. And on Facebook at Survivor Angels-Chaplain Jodi. Sound effects for the show created by Andre Opate and provided by Pixbay. This is Dave Schrader. Until next time, sending you off to activate your angels.